Some of the things that came out, it's kind of interesting. The postings on MeWe, I think it was Monday. And if you don't think THI is that important, then I opened 12 posts and here was 8 of them. All stuff that we've covered in the shows. Number 1, BlackRock, Jewish group out of New York, leveraging global finances for takeover, whilst pushing whites out of the money pit. That was the article. This is what was warned in the From Russia with Love shows, was it not? Even from part 1. Number 2, coronavirus is a scam, the professor says, and when it's finished, millionaires will be billionaires. Sounds like the Clowns in Panic show to me. Number 3, cartoon of the president signing said to be a special $2 trillion bill. And the caption said, why is it special? Because we don't have 2 trillion. You can pick any THI show for that. Number 4, CIA running sex brothels as a sting via Hugh Hefner and Epstein. Oh dear. From Russia with Love 7 and also several other THI shows. Number 5, the Kennedy Center. Of course, Q and cohorts are pushing the Kennedy story. I think our show last week crushed that reality. So the Kennedy Center got an overhaul and was awarded $25 million from the non-existent $2 trillion relief bill. Except the Kennedy Center stops paying the staff and then donates $5 million to the DNC. Oh my. You can pick any THI show for that also. And then you got 3.2 million Americans filed for unemployment. It's now 17.5 million in just the past 3 weeks. And yet Democrats in that bill wanted $300 million for illegals. Again, we've warned you about that in several THI shows. Remington Arms of New York said they would make ventilators for the virus. Governor Cuomo ordered them from China, and they are now delayed. And again, proving these people would rather engage, promote, and trade with other countries. Again, that's come out of several THI shows. And then the final one, Kushner takes charge of FEMA as his portfolio explodes due to the virus and his positioning. Again, you can pick many THI and actually Cosmic Voice shows of warning of Kushner. We'll have more on him in the intel. So with the jobless claims going through the roof and businesses going tits up, what happens next? Is it 1929 again, Americans? Where is the money required to create new jobs, again, with few businesses surviving coming from? Do you think old money in the system will be able to provide that stimulus? If yes, how? All banks are in negative liquidity, some between 300 and 650%, including the Federal Reserve banks. Where will the banks get their funding from if they have none? And this is the harsh reality we face of dwindling money, dwindling supplies, jobs, businesses, and more importantly, food. The stark truth is there's only one way to get this country back on its feet, is new money and there's trust. That's it. I know RVs, Nasara, Jessara, and all the other rubbish that's all over the internet. None of it. And this country needs to remind Trump of that fact and not sit about waiting for sound bites of it's coming. Here comes the pain, FISA documents, JFK documents, the RV. Sit back and wait for Q to do anything. Or Black Sun takeovers of the defunct Federal Reserve Bank and its subsidiary, the IRS. Both of which have looted this country blind since 1912, one of which is not even on American soil. But if ever there was a time to see the illusion of how government doesn't work, is now. It's like watching a kindergarten trying to set up a quantum physics lab. It's so awful and mismanaged, it's not even funny anymore. It is and should be an abject lesson in a complete embarrassment of your country. And to be clear, that applies equally to both parties. It is an illusion they are different, and people of every country fall for the same illusion every single election. Oh, this one will be different. This candidate will be different. They're not. They're all controlled puppets of a system that's largely unseen. And if you think the deep state is top of the tree, you're not even close. Fact. And yes, we can all blame the politicians, and rightly so. But you all voted them in. And so ultimately, we are responsible. And part of the problem is we don't make them accountable enough. We don't push them on policies and bills that they push forward and sign off in our name. We just don't do it enough. But if you still think governments operate for the people, if you still think the government will fix and save your life, you are totally delusional. They do nothing. Why? Because we don't make them do the job that they were employed to do, which is look after the people first, then the country. That is how a real government should operate. Look after the people first, then the country, not the other way round. Countries are relevant. Look for the latest stimulus. That's not for the people, is it? It's for the same clowns who created the stimulus, read bailouts, in 2008 and also 2001, which is barely spoken about. Yes, they got bailed out in 2001 under the smokescreen cover of 9/11. But in that bill, there was $500 billion for the Fed. $500 billion for a company that is defunct. It's owned by the trust due to the multi-quadrillion-dollar liens against it, owed to the trust, and has no license to operate even. They won't tell you that on the mainstream media, will they? But it's true. And this is what THI and the TPC is all about, making you all participate and personally responsible, because sitting back and doing neither has not served any of us too well. In fact, it's not served us at all. You want change? Then be it.